Hello and welcome. I'm Margarita Crystal Lotus, and we are going to talk about the crown chakra today. In this series of chakra healing workshops or course informations, Rosanna Montella and I have talked about all of the chakras. So I am Margarita Crystal Lotus. I'm an intuitive life and business mentor who helps professional women overcome emotional problems so that they can see their career flourish and have satisfying relationships. And we have this amazing opportunity to hear Rosanna Martella. Come on in.
Hi, I'm Rosanna Martella, and I am a sensitive intuitive with over 20 years of experience in various alternative healing modalities, and including natural health and natural nutritional counseling, energy work, acupressure, and shiatsu, and release of emotional blockage. And also I specialize in strengthening the immune system and helping people with gluten intolerance and celiac disease. You can find me online at rosanna.com.
Awesome. On today, we are going to dive in. This is the last episode in our chakra healing series, and we are going to talk about the crown chakra. So, Rosanna, what is the seventh chakra, the crown, and where is it?
Well, it's where the word says. It's in the crown area. It's above the top of our heads. It's actually higher up, higher than our heads, the energy. And it's above our cerebral cortex. And the element of this chakra is thought. It's our thinking processes that go on in this chakra, and it's associated also with the pituitary gland and developmental stages from early adulthood, and it continues throughout the entire life.
Okay, so I was wondering, what's the difference between the pituitary and the pineal gland? Is it possible that the third eye chakra is the pituitary gland or the pineal?
Well, that there is a very big mess up here. A lot of some books say that the sixth chakra it's connected to the pituitary gland. And but the way I learned it with my pranic healing, it's that the third eye is connected to the pineal gland, because the pineal gland has crystals, and that's an eye. It's the third eye. That's where we see our images, and that it's right at the base of the skull, right in the middle, while the pituitary is a little bit higher up. And that, to me, and to what I learned in my pranic healing school, is more connected with the crown chakra.
I'm so glad we sorted that out, because we would have a lot of questions about that otherwise. So yeah.
Yeah,
and,
there is.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even confusion. It's maybe certain people see it in one way and others another way. But to me, it seems logical that the pineal gland is more connected to the eye and the see and the vision, even if it's an internal vision, because of the fact that they also call it the seat of the soul, or all of that, and that it's some kind of vision. It's our internal mind vision.
Okay, thank you. And so now over to the tasks and basic rights.
All right, so the tasks are assimilation of the knowledge and the development of the wisdom. Well, the basic task is to know and to learn. So that it's basically the most important thing that we do throughout our life. It's to learn more, and we continue to learn throughout our entire life. Well, the demon of this chakra is attachments, because we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, you mean the demon of this chakra? I didn't hear you correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say demon. It's attachment is demon. Yes.
Yeah. And we have another question there. Why is this chakra called the 1,000-petal lotus?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, a little bit I want to talk about the balance of this chakra. When this chakra is balanced, there is the ability to perceive and analyze and assimilate information, and there is an intelligent thoughts and awareness, and the chakra is more open to new things and to bigger things, and we learn to abandon old thoughts and hold things through this thinking process in this chakra. So this 1,000-petal idea, it's basically coming from India, and it's like, just think of it, this chakra system as a plant. The plant is a lotus. The lotus is a beautiful plant that it grows in a pond with, it makes beautiful, very large leaves and beautiful flowers. Now, these flowers, when they bloom, have many, many, many petals, and how this petal, it all opens up the petals, this flower, it's almost like reaching heaven. But it also turns down and it reaches down. It's almost like bringing this sweetness of this flower down into the rest of the plant inside, underneath. So now if we think of our chakra system as a plant needs to have roots. And the roots are going to be into the ground because that's where it gets the nourishment of this chakra, and so it's by the nourishment of this chakra that it gets from the ground that it's able to blossom and make these beautiful flowers. So the crown chakra, it is what it connects us to the divine. It's connecting us to that part of us that it's connected to God and to whatever it is that it makes this whole universe move and go. And so it is, but it is also connected to the first chakra. I mean, there is got to be this, remember the first chakra, we needed to build this foundation to hold the building. Well, this building, it's this beautiful plant that has this root into the, buried inside of the pond, into the mud. And it's the mud that it really propels this whole system up to the top to open to the divine. But it's also the divine needs to be connected with the earth in order to make this whole system blossom. Mm. So the purpose of the seventh chakra is to contact the divine, but also to manifest divinity within our body. And it's with this divinity in this physical body that we can transform the world. Mm. So
I have a question there about the 1,000-petal lotus, because I've heard also that there is these interference patterns, like in the root chakra, it's just very small frequencies resonated, and then they create the 4 petals, and then in the throat, for example, there's these 16 petals that vibrate much faster.
Right. And
is it true that in the crown, where there is these 1,000 petals, the interference pattern, if you look at it diagrammatically from a frequency, has actually like a lot of of spokes. It's like the diagram, right? What do you?
Yeah, but I feel it's because the more we get close to the divine, the less we have to let go of the material world. So the material world, it's more dense, so there is less vibration. So that's why there is less petals. And as we go up this rainbow, because that's what the chakra system is, it's a rainbow of colors. As we go up on the rainbow, we are getting lighter and lighter, and less resistance and less attachments to the ground and to the material world. So that's why it's important to learn to let go of certain attachments as we get closer to the crown chakra, because the crown chakra, it's more open to a lighter, a different type of energy.
Right. Okay. Great. So
So,
how do we develop the crown chakra?
well, the crown chakra, um, it's a, I mean, beside the fact that when the developmental stage it starts when we're almost adults and it continues through the entire life. And, and the developmental formation, it happens in different ways. And it goes on from the moment we're born practically until we die. So it helps us to build our cognitive structure and all the belief systems that we have. So and it helps us to understand the world and how it's made and how it works. And we need to constantly adjust our thinkings and our upgrading and changing as we develop more our mind chakra. And this change occurs in stages. It's not, all at once. And as we crave deeper understanding and we want to learn deeper into the things that so this awakening begins, and we started to ask questions like why we're here and what does this all mean, and what is the source and what is the spirit. But this is a question, these are questions that we start to get only when we leave home, because at home we're safe. We're mom and dads and we're people that take care of us. It's only when we start to get in the world by ourselves and we start to really ignite this energy that is within us, that it makes us strong enough to survive on Earth, that we start to get these questions in our mind. And then it's like in a sixth chakra, we're still thinking with the ego in a way, where the ego is still present. But here in the seventh chakra, there is no more ego. We have let go of the ego, and we start to think into a much more wider way, a much more global or universal way.
Well, is that just when we have let go of all the attachments and stuff in?
Yes, but there is
the ego. I
talk about that too, because there is, you see, we have to let go of the attachments, but just like the thousand petal lotus needs the mud and the attachment to that first chakra in order to bloom and to get the nourishment from the earth, the same thing happens for this chakra. This chakra needs that attachment to our first chakra and all the other chakras in order to develop and to bring us to connect to the divine. But it is, yes, it is surrendering our attachments and and that in our belief system that, you know, those addictive habits that we got to let go. Not all the habits. You know, we should keep some of the habits that we have. That they're good. They have love in it. They're, you know, you love your children, you love your family, you love your certain things that they're like the body cannot be without, you know, and continue to live in the right way and to develop all the chakras and open all this chakra system. You know, it's we have to think about this like you know, this rainbow, because the chakras are all different colors. So this rainbow develops, but it is light. It's pure light, even in the darker and in the, you know, in a more dense places. It's still part of light. So I feel like that. Yes, it is important still to keep some of the attachments that are needed, but it's also good to be able to surrender at a higher power, surrender to the fact that the universe knows how to prepare things and give us whatever we need. And so by surrendering to a higher entity and a higher strength and power, we get to reach whatever it is that we're aiming to, you know, what it is, our own feelings of what this life is all about for us.
So I have a question here about what you're saying, because it's a little unclear to me. So is not the third eye chakra related a little bit to the thinking process and concepts? And then as far as I'm concerned, I have learned that the crown chakra is above concepts, and there is no thinking there. It's what beyond the thinking. What do you say about that?
I didn't see it that way. To me, it is thinking, but it's also thinking in new ways. It's also releasing all the ideas that they don't work anymore. You know, just like, let's think of something. It's like when Galileo was looking at the stars and through his rudimental telescope, and he realized that the Earth was moving, and it wasn't that the sun was turning around the Earth, but it was the Earth turning around the sun. Well, the people around him would not let go that idea that the Earth was standing still. So they put him in jail, the poor man. But eventually, they had to relinquish to the fact that it was true. You know, humanity finally got it that, wait a minute, it's not the sun turning around us, but it's us turning around the sun. And so, or if, you know, when Christopher Columbus came, you know, had the intention to go find Asia going the other way, and everybody was saying that Gibraltar was the end of it was a flat land. You know, it's like, it's the same the same thing. It's like you have to let go of certain ideas and certain things that don't work anymore because you got enlightened and you've seen a bigger picture now. So you do think with your mind chakra, with your crown chakra, but you also think with all three, the upper chakras, you know, because the throat, the ajna, and the crown chakra, those are the mind from my point of view, because it's how the mind expresses itself through the throat chakra. It's how the mind sees new things with the ajna, and it's how the mind absorbs these new ideas and decide, okay, well, that's not good. Let's throw that out. Let's put this in. That's probably, from my point of view, the way it goes.
Yeah, because we have, if you talk about mind, there is three kind of minds, right? There is an ego mind, there is a higher mind, and then there is like the supra mind, right? It's all about definitions here, so I want to be clear so we talk about the same thing.
Yeah, but there's a thing about surrendering to the higher power. That doesn't mean that we have to relinquish all the lower states and release all of the rest of the creation. What it means that we need to trust the universe, that it's going to guide us, and it's through the mind chakra, the crown chakra, that we are open to new ideas and to new things, and that they're coming from our super conscious mind.
So what do you think about this idea that like the three lower dimensions plus the time dimension, and when it's in the lower chakras, but when we come to the crown chakra, maybe there is higher dimensions that we can access through that? What do you have to think
because
about?
there is higher vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And if we learn to switch from the lower vibration to a higher vibration, then all of that comes to us. Mm. That's the whole thing. And I feel like that the humans are now starting to get into a different vibration because the vibration of the earth has changed and where our body is changing. It's like we're moving up on our evolution, so we're getting more and more into a much more refined way of vibrating, much faster, much higher pitch, and that will change tremendously everything around us, and all our life are going to change.
I think that we need to make the distinction that a lower vibration doesn't necessarily need to be a bad vibration. We have physical matter is not bad, but exactly. we can have negative thoughts. Maybe that's bad, but otherwise it's not like if you have a low vibration.
Oh, negative habits. Let's go on, because if not, we're not going to get to finish to talk about all the things I'm going to talk about today. So can maybe we come to the point of trauma and abuses, because that is another thing that it closes the crown chakra.
Yes.
Okay. So the abuses of this chakra are very subtle, and they're very profound, and they occur at any age, and they are, when these abuses happen, we tend to close or fixate the chakra, either in a closed or open condition, position. So when this position is always open, or it limits. It limits our way of concentration. So we cannot focus on something because we're too much up there in either with our mind. So, and when it's too closed, then we're looking at too much focused on something, and we are losing the big picture of things. And because we're limiting our expansion. So this chakra has to be closing and opening and being able to move as the will or whatever it's needed. Oh gosh, I forgot.
Is it the higher realms that coming in? You get the message there? How appropriate.
Always.
So is that the attachment to demon on this chakra? Is that the phone?
Well,
action.
Let's talk about when children are intuitive. Okay, So if the people around them um, are telling them that it's something wrong with their intuition, then the child closes up that idea. And you see, children are always feeling things, but then they want to seek information about these feelings. They don't have words for it, so they ask their parents or whoever is their caretakers to fill in the blanks. But many parents refuse to tell the children some informations, you know, about death or about, you know, the devil or whatever it is that they decides that the child should not know about it. And I feel like when the child is ready, he's going to start asking for it. So you better give him the information. That's the way I always thought. And I did it with my children, you know, even about, you know, some other, you know, some very little things, but that most parents will not tell their children when they're little. So then, or maybe the child wants to study something that the parents decides that it's not good for his gender, or you know, that kind of thing. It's not a good thing too, because it closes the child to the things that he desire to learn about. And so when we are denied to access this information, then the chakra closes up on that subject, on that kind of thing. And you know, it's like in school, the school system, it can damage children and their curiosity, because the school systems are made in such way that they're keeping things around even after the culture has moved up. You know, even if the rest of the world is moving, we're noticing now a lot of people are complaining about the school system, and not only in USA. I see it in Italy, where everybody's complaining that the school system needs a revision and needs to be moved up with the pace of life, and it's not, because all these systems are so archaic and so, you know, put there, and they're like carved in stone, it seems, you know, those laws and regulations. And that hurts children, because it thwarts them, their willing of learning, their curiosity gets stunned. And so, and in the schools, the learning process is most of the time tedious and boring. And you know, I remember that I used to love going to school, and then by my 9th grade, I had this teacher that decided that I was stupid, and it destroyed me. I hated school from that moment on. The only time that I loved school was after, when I decided to do art, because art, it just kind of moved my creativity. And so in those classes, I was excelling, while the other classes, you know, like some other classes that I didn't care, because of that time in my 9th grade, that teacher made it so difficult for me just to get up in the morning and go to school and sit there all day, that I didn't care about it. I didn't want to know. My curiosity had been just shut down on that subject. The end. You know what I mean?
So, Rosanna, when that happened to you, do you think that closed down your crown chakra? Do you think that?
In a certain way it did, but even though in those subjects that I really wanted to learn, that I had different teachers that they didn't do what the damage that teacher did in my 9th grade. I mean, she was the teacher of Italian, Latin, history, and geography. And I started to hate history. I didn't dislike geography, because geography, it's I always liked to look at the world and learn things, so I would learn things on my own by, you know, reading articles and books of geography things. But and Italian, I already had a good base and a good, foundation of the Italian language from the way I was brought up, and also in my earlier years of school. So that did not hurt me. But mathematic was not a thing for me. I mean, and I understand. I am much right-brained person, so you need more of a left brain development to know about mathematics. And I
Well,
discovered
I'm a former math student, so I I studied
I,
math at university,
well,
you
I
know.
don't know what it happened to me, but when it came to mathematics, there was some teachers that didn't make it fun for me, I guess. But I realized with my son that it's all what he wanted to learn was, his books were all on mathematics. So I felt like that he was more prone for that kind of stuff. But that's why I feel like schools should be more open to understand what is the child's curiosity and the child's willingness to learn certain subjects more than others, and allow them to be free to come to learn to the other subject that they don't want to learn early in life. Maybe later on they will develop that,
Right.
you know.
So
So,
we move on to the some of the attachments and demons of the crown chakra.
well, yeah, but there is also some some of the abuses I want to talk about that we didn't talk about. And it's when children are getting from their parents this idea that of purity and shame and all of this stuff that, it's good and bad stuff. Or if the parents are too much into the name of God, doing things in the name of God, and religion gets really banged into a person to reach perfection in a very dogmatic way, and then and they tell the child that they're full of sin, and then the child will close the crown chakra, because children that are brought up in a much more healthy, loving environment that don't have all these restrictions are they're connected more to their spirit. I mean, children are connected to the spirit. Nobody is born with sin. Sin, it's what we imagine, but there is really not something that we are born with. But these religions, they're telling us that as soon as we arrive, we're already very sinful. And, it's that destroys us. That destroys the crown chakra, closes up with that, says, oh my God, I'm not good. It's like, this is not a good thing that I'm doing. And, so all of that, it's not good. But on the other hand, it's good to give the child enough to learn about a variety of religious ideas. I mean, I remember when I was little, of course, I grew up in Italy, and most people there are Catholic Christians, and there is all this idea of the paradise and purgatory and inferno and all of that, and I feel like that. I think one time I was reading somewhere that we shouldn't be looking at other religions, because we were Christians and we had the perfect religion. It's not good to go and look into other religions. But then when I started to study with my mentor, which was a priest of all, he was a mystic, and he started to talk to me about this Asian idea of the energy, the chakras, and the development of this all other part of this opposites, and the good and the bad, and and it's like it all kind of turned in my head, and I'm saying, my God, this makes more sense than the idea of having paradise and hell and purgatory. To me, I feel like that we are in hell on earth if we are closing up the top chakra and we're not seeing the world the way it should be open, you know. So that's the way I thought about this stuff.
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that because we have to have respect for other religions,
Yes,
other
and
religion, but also we need to look at how we actually feel and what a person can do with their own chakra system. So instead of delving going into the traumas too much, if we have a trauma, how do we actually heal that?
okay, it's from attachments. We got to let go of attachments and learn how to um, let go of some attachments, because the attachments kind of denies this fluid state that it is in the universe. And in the Eastern religions, like you said last time, attachments are basic for sufferings.
Hmm.
So attachment, it's like a slippery demon, if we want to say that. And it is not something that we can live with completely without. I mean, there is some healthy attachments that our physical body needs, our needs to be met. And so those attachments are okay, but there is the ones that they're like addictions, those attachments that they're developed like addictions, they're things that we don't want to let go. Those are the ones that we need to learn how to let go.
So
And
can we make this distinction here that an attachment is something we don't want, but we still have to have the energy flow from our nutrients and nourishment and the needs we have. This is not really attachment in this context. These are life energies that nourishes us, and these are good things. So can we do that? Because otherwise it's a little bit confusing in the discussion.
all right, so attachment is it's letting go. Attachment is also learning how to use the energy that we have, the psychic energy that we have. And so it is the fixations on certain things that don't move that energy, that we're fixating on something, that it's not good for the crown chakra.
Okay, got it.
Upon it's like when we're fixated or upon something external to us, even if it's another person. There is people that they're fixating on their first love, and they can't see anybody else that can match to that, so they're living their life completely in pain and agony because they never found another love like that. It's like that is an attachment, and it's also a fixation. It's like you need to let go of things to find new things. You have to empty your glass in order to refill it. That's the way I see it. And we all have attachments and fixations, and that's the whole thing, is to learn and to be able to discern what is a fixation and what is a healthy attachment, that it makes the difference for our life and our mind chakra. And then
So can I ask you this? Can you give an example of an attachment in your life that you have surrendered or let go, and how did you do that?
well, I feel like the universe did that for me, because you see, with attachments, there is also the fact that an attachment and the pain connected to that attachment, it's like our teacher. Okay, so I had a big business in Italy, and I was attached to that business, and it was a big attachment because I had put all my energy into that. And then for other reasons that I'm not going to stay in here and explain, that business ended. And at first, I had a lot of resistance on that attachment, on the idea that had finished. I didn't like that it finished. It made me very, very unhappy, very, very nervous, I mean, this has been going on for years. And as I learned to let it go, I discovered that I am growing and I am learning and I am opening up to other things that if I would have had that going on, that business going on, I would not had the opportunity and the time and the willingness to explore what I'm doing now. All of this, all my learning and the healing modalities that I learned to do and to help others. And yes, probably I would have been much richer money-wise, but I feel like that I'm much richer in another way now, even if I don't have the money that business could have given me.
Well, that's a really good point there, Rosanna, because we receive this gift from actually having learned and let go and have I'm sure anyone listening here can really have their own examples of that, right?
Yeah. So, but there is another thing also. There is those people that have attachment in avoidance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, like somebody that it's friend with somebody and having problems with that person somebody decided, oh, I'm not going to stay around and help this person, or I'm going to let it go, this is too much work for me. So that avoidance is also an attachment, because the person, it's letting go of something that it can teach them something.
Mm-hmm.
Because also it's like, oh, well, I don't care for that. And it's not true. They do care for that, but they don't want to put the time and the energy into discovering what is wrong with that part that they don't like about that thing right now. Which, it could be the other person.
People, and then they don't like each other, and then they just leave without the understanding. Is that what you mean?
Well, I had a friend that we were very close, and after my first husband left, I had a very, very difficult time mentally, and I needed somebody to talk to and to be with that cared for me. And I thought that she was the person that cared for me, until one day she didn't come home, she didn't come around anymore, and she abandoned me. Mm-hmm. And I don't live too far away from her, so I have continued to be friend with her after the fact. But I discovered over and over again that she does that with everything that becomes difficult in her life. She just let it go. Instead, I am the opposite person. I end up banging my head and breaking and putting everything in to try to fix things and to try to mend things up. But I also get angry, and I feel like this is life. We're all these things. All the chakras help all together to make this one human being that it's me. And I am good and I am bad and I am happy and I am sad and I am all of those things together, and so I discovered that also those attachments, there can be avoidance of attachments, and that is also an attachment. And it's an attachment of not wanting to learn, not wanting to discover or help or whatever it is that that person doesn't want to be attached to. And so every time that something dissimilar happened, they just let it go and move on.
It's a very good point, Rosanna, that the resistance is usually a sign of, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, you're right. So what else can you say to finish with the crown chakra?
There's a couple other things. How much time do we have, first of all?
We have, yeah, we have time. Go ahead.
Okay. So I want to just go back through the chakras, you know, and think about the chakra like each chakra can be perceived as a layer of clothing. The basic chakra, the first chakra, it's a red coat that we have on our body. And it is attached to the earth because the earth is the vessel that holds this chakra. And it's developed from the age 0 to 12 months, connected to the adrenal glands. And it's the survival and self-preservation. That's what the first chakra is. So this red coat helps us to survive and to preserve this body. And you know, we have birth traumas, there we have the separation from the mother, the abandonment, the neglect that can affect this chakra, and we can have feeding difficulties, but we must develop this downward current that it makes us grounded. So this first chakra, the important thing is the grounding, because the grounding gives us structure and stability, and this define the vital foundation for this consciousness, this collective consciousness that it's around us, that we're trying to reach. So then the second chakra, it's an orange coat that we have on top of the red coat. And that it's developed between the time that we're 6 months old to 2 years old. And there is the element of the taste, and then the glands are the gonad glands that they're attached to the second chakra, and with this the location is the pelvic area, so it's the center of the primary emotions, to the sense of sexual energy, and the sense of creativity. And so the emotions are like I have a water life kind of a fluidity, and it gives us these emotions that we must move all the time in order to get these emotions to come up through the sacral system and to give us these new feelings about things and about the external world and about the internal world. So self-gratification and pleasure are very important at this stage, and so, but if the pleasure gets regulated by guilt and we become rigid, then there is no movement, so these emotions become stuck. And if the emotions are stuck, then we're out of balance. We're not more feeling in the right way. We're not able to feel and let go of the emotions as they rise from the second chakra. So we also need to reclaim our shadow, because in the second chakra there is also this shadow part of us that it's all those negative emotions that they have taught us when we were little that they were no-nos. So we kind of put them away, didn't want to see them, we completely forgot about them. but they're there, they're real, and they hurt us because they affect us through the entire chakra system, and they're not allowing us to be conscious of all these things, and that being human and being divine, it also means good and bad, right and wrong, and all of this is all one. And it's also important to integrate the polarities of the feminine and the masculine, and the inner and the outer body. You know, it's whatever happens inside and whatever happens outside. All these emotions and all these feelings, they connect the inner world and the outer world. So that's the second chakra. Then there was the third chakra. The third chakra, it's located at the solar plexus, and that's soft part right below the sternum, and it's develops between the time that we're 18 months old to 4 years old. So we had the red coat, then there was the orange coat of the second, and now we have this yellow gold coat on top of the other two that allows us to have this kind of sun. This is the sun of our body. It's the light. And the demon of this coat, of this second chakra, it's shame, because shame closes it up, the sun. So we lose that strength of that the sun can give us. But this chakra, it exhibits energetic vitality if it's open, if it's working right. And it brings the energies of the lower chakras into the upper chakra, especially into the heart chakra, that is the fourth chakra. So, and in this chakra, we develop the ego. We start to learn that there is a separate self, and we are that separate identity, separate from mom, from dad, from our friends, from our relatives, and from the world around. And so this is what the ego teaches us, that we can decide for ourselves, and we're like the manager of our own self, and we can start to understand things about the conscious and the unconscious mind, and the interior and the exterior. This chakra help us to do this, and also combining the energy coming from the lower chakra with the consciousness and the spirituality that comes down from above. These two things gets united, the energy from above and the energy from below, and the ego becomes like the CEO of the self, and it's the fuel that gives us the passion, the desire, and the strength of decisions, and to project what we want in the world. The fourth chakra is the center of, it's on the center of the chest, right below the sternum. It's connected to the thymus gland, which is the power center of the heart, and the element is the air, and this chakra develops from the time that we're 4 years old to the time we're 7 years old. The color, it's got more than one color. It's the heart chakra is kind of pale colors, so it's pink, and it's got gold, and it has also smoky green at times, so it has more than one color that it's projected from this chakra. So we have this other coat now that is more pale, but it has more color to it to add to the first three colors. The demon of this chakra is grief. When we have grief, this chakra shuts down, and then it's not good. But when we're balanced, we become more compassionate, more loving, we're more emphatic, we're self-love, we learn to self-love, and so as we learn to self-love, we learn to love others, we become altruistic, and we're peaceful and balanced. So this chakra, it's all about love and balance, because also it's in the center of our chakra system. It's the fourth chakra, and there is 3 chakra below and 3 chakra above. This heart chakra, it's in the center. It's the most powerful center that we have. The heart chakra, the heart also has cells that they're like the brain cells. So the heart chakra, it's our major brain if we learn to use it, because it's in that brain that we have more compassion, that we have more love. And love, we know that it makes the world go around. So relationships are very important for this chakra, and the relationship that we create with others are very important. And then there is this sacred marriage between the balancing of the masculine and the feminine, that it's also very important in this chakra. And you know, it's like, so it's the most important chakra of all of them. Then there is the fifth chakra. The location is in the neck, and it's the developmental stages from 5 to 12 years, from 7 to 12 years old. The sound, it's either. So it's sound and vibrations. It's connected to the thyroid gland, and the color, it's pale blue. So on top of the 4 coats and colors that we had, now there is a blue coat in our aura system that shows up at this point. And it's the basic need of the chakra. It's to speak and to be heard. This is a very important thing, because it gives us self-expression, and it takes away from the gravity, and it brings us more into the abstract. So we start to understand more abstracting in a different way. And it gives us the opportunity to be more attentive to the world of vibrations. And it's the internal, this chakra is the internal gateway between the mind and the body. Because within the mind, we can see what the body needs, and we can express it through the voice. The sign of this chakra to be balanced is that the person has a very good resonant voice. It is a good listener also. It has a good sense of time and rhythm, and has clear communications. It's a person that lives creatively, and it's able to listen, and it has resonance. Resonance is when we feel the resonance of another person. When we talk to another person, if we have resonance, we can understand each other better. The throat chakra is this internal gateway between the interior and the exterior, from the mind and the body. And so the sound, it's the sound of our body. Then there is the sixth chakra, which the location is in the forehead, and it's right here above the eyebrows, a little bit above. It's connected to the pineal gland. We talked about it a lot. And it develops through our adolescence, so through the time that we change from being a child to being an adult. And light is the element of this chakra. The color, it's indigo and blue. So, but it also has some yellow and some violet in it. So here we are in these higher upper chakras. We're starting to see new colors coming in this coat that we have wrapped around our body. The demon of this chakra, it's illusions. The balanced person, it's more intuitive. It perceives things better. It's more imaginative. It has good memory. It has good dream recalls, and and it can visualize, and it can become a clairvoyant. So it's this chakra is the chakra, the seat of the mental power, the intellect, and of our memory and of our will. When this chakra is fully awakened, the individual is mature, and the vibration of this chakra is faster than all the chakras below. This it makes us see things in a different way, in a more light and intuitive way, and in imagination it grows really big in this chakra, and the realm of this chakra starts to be behind the ego, so we don't think too much of ourselves, but we combine it with the needs of others and to the outer world also. And that's it. We're going to talk about now about the seventh chakra, which we have touched today, which is it's developed all through the time that we're an adult until we die, and the location is on the crown. It's actually higher up than the crown chakra. I mean, than the crown, the cortex, and this chakra, it's about merging with the divine consciousness, and the connection is with the pituitary gland. That the pituitary gland is also does all kinds of hormones for the mind to develop. So the attachments of this chakra, I mean, the demon of this chakra is attachments, and the balance chakra, it's got more ability to perceive and analyze and assimilate information. It gives us intelligent thoughts, and we're more aware of things, and we have an open mind that it's able to question things. We're more spiritually connected. We have wisdom and mastery when this chakra is open and working balanced in a balanced way, and it gives us a much broader understanding. So with this rainbow of this seventh chakra, it's all connected, because it's like a tree, it's like a plant, that it's got the roots into the earth, and then it has this beautiful flower that it blooms up here, and the color of this chakra, it's violet, and that it's in the. I wanted to show back this graphic that I made, which it shows that down here is the basic chakra with the red, and then all of these colors, they go higher and higher in vibration, and they open like a flower, like a big flower on top. So we have a rainbow within our body. Why? Because we are the children of light. So rainbows are not only those things that we see in an arch in the sky after it rains. We are carrying one in our body. And this rainbow, it's important because it has all the spectrum of all light. The light spectrum is present within us. We carry this spectrum and this light. And it is through using this light in the right way and understanding that the more we learn how to use it, the better our life becomes. Because we can use the spectrum, it's like chakras are vital energy. Yes, it is important to give up attachments, to be, or to be too grounded or whatever. But this is our vital energy. It's the whole thing. It's us. It's not just one thing. Everything, the whole spectrum, is within us. So if we think of it's important to see it in a different ways now. So it's like if we are able to distribute this vital energy in the right things, in the things that that give us energy, that give us, it's almost like an investment that we do with the process of life. So that investment give us returns, just like if we would be, it's like we're investing this energy and then we get energy in exchange. But think of it like we're investment bankers and we are taking this investment of this energy that comes from our chakra, and we invested in various types of various parts of our life. And think about it, it's like investing money, okay? Because we all know about money more than we know about chakras. So imagine that every morning when you get up, you got $700 of energy money. And you have the $700 of energy to spend. So now, if when you first wake up in the morning, you start to get an idea, what are you going to do throughout the day? Usually I do that in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I think of how my day is going to unfold. If I have some meetings, if I have some things that I must do, I think of all that I have to do even before I get off my bed. And then you decide, we decide how we're going to invest this energy money. And either we're going to invest it in positive circumstances and positive relationships, or, things that uplift us and give us good returns, or into our chakra system and into our energy field, and so that energy that keeps on growing and keeps on creating beautiful things and beautiful and positive, happy, good things. Or we're going to make investments that will start building up a debt, and eventually the $700 of money energy that we have are going to be gone. And day after day, we wake up with less energy and less energy until we arrive at moments that we're going to get sick. And so we decided, okay, we're going to get a loan. But where are we going to get this loan? We get this loan from our cells and from our physical body. Because, yeah, we have this external energy, we have the chakra system that gives us all energy, but when there is no more energy there, then the cells of the body starts to have a problem, because they have to relinquish their energy in order to sustain our energy body. So the physical body is going to get sick, or we're going to start to absorb the energy from other people's energy body. We become like
vampires.
Exactly. I was trying to see that word. I couldn't get it. But
so
yes.
We have just a few minutes left.
Okay,
so
but this,
summarize it.
We're like vampires that are sucking energy from other people. And who are these people? They're the people that they're willing to listen to us, that they're willing to help us, and so even if unconsciously we do this, we become like parasites. and not even if you know. So this is eventually what happens. But even though as we get energy from other people, and if we do continue this for a long period of time, then that energy ends too, because we start losing friends and relatives, and we become alone, and then our body, and we get depressed, and then that's how our body gets sick and crash. So we have to look at it, at this energy system that we have, and try to invest it in positive things.
Yes. And with that, I think we have to finish because we have other things to do. And I thank you, Rosanna, for
I would
having
like to
done
say
this.
one thing. I have intention to also make this chakra system teaching in the Italian language next.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is I thank you for being on here, and so that we could do this series. And do you have anything else to say there, Rosanna?
No, I am very happy that I was able to do this with you, and I enjoyed it very much. And I hope that it helps people to understand what is our non-physical body, that it's just as important as the physical body. Actually, it's the most important body that we should take care of first, because that is what it maintains us in a healthy way on our physical body.
Okay, and with that, thank you for watching this episode, and look back to see the next episode in whatever we both do. And so I'm Margarita Lotus, and Rosanna and we say goodbye for this time.
Bye.